This is Michael Popak, Legal AF. We got breaking news in the E. Jean Carroll civil rape case and defamation case going to trial against Donald Trump on April 25th, just 1 month away in New York federal court. We have a ruling. As I predicted on a prior hot take, Judge Lewis Kaplan has decided that for the interest of justice and to protect the jurors, they will remain anonymous during the jury to protect their identity, to protect them from Donald Trump and the followers of Donald Trump. How do I know that? Because in his opinion, Judge Kaplan cited to the misconduct of Donald Trump, including his recent social media postings, attacking the prosecutors and the grand jury in New York, looking at his Stormy Daniels cover-up, attacking the foreperson that was the foreperson for the special purpose grand jury in Georgia, attacking the foreperson juror for the Roger Stone criminal case. He cited, the judge did, to all of these things, along with other things, including the fact that this is a man, a former president, who is being tried for civil rape, that has already been impeached twice, that has made it a habit of attacking judges, jurors, law enforcement, and a whole catalog of things that Judge Kaplan relied upon in order to make his ruling. Anonymity of a jury is unusual. It generally only happens in criminal cases because the guy or the woman on the other side, the defendant, is really a bad person. A Unabomber, a World Trade Center bomber, a mob boss, a drug lord. Those are the people that you protect the jurors from. Civil case, very rare. Already when Donald Trump and his lawyers walk into the courtroom, the jury is already going to have it in its mind, bad guy being tried. Such a bad guy that my own personal safety and liberty is at risk. That if you're a defense lawyer like Alina Habba claims that she is, or Joe Tacopina claims that he is, that is a bad start. You got one foot in the bucket even before you pick your jury, because the jury's going to be told, hey, by the way, we're going to protect you, ... implicitly from Donald Trump, because he's a bad person and his people around him or him will attack you. You know, I get it that the person is presumed innocent, but we're under a civil setting here. All that E. Jean Carroll has to prove is the lesser burden in a civil case of preponderance of the evidence. That just means if you have two scales of justice and you put a feather on one side and it just tips up ever so slightly, that's preponderance of evidence. That's all the jury needs to know. They already have a preponderance of evidence in favor of E. Jean Carroll before the trials even started because of the anonymity ruling by the judge. Now, interestingly, and another, I think, poor strategic decision by Donald Trump's lawyers, they did not oppose the judge's request that they be heard on the issue of anonymity, whether we're going to keep this jury anonymous. The judge came up with this on its own. He made an order last Saturday that said, I'm giving you until the middle of the week for the lawyers for both sides to tell me pro or con, should I have an anonymous jury? Would you believe that Donald Trump's lawyers didn't even take a position and did not oppose covering the jury with anonymity? What I said in my hot take from a week ago, because it's the proper strategy, is that while the plaintiff's lawyers would be very appreciative of the judge's position and say, Judge, whatever you like. If you think they need to be protected from Donald Trump effectively, then we agree with you. You should make them anonymous. But at least we thought Alina Habba, the lawyer for Donald Trump, allegedly, or Joe Tacopina, the translucent lawyer for Donald Trump, you never see him anywhere, would object and say, no, that's bad for our client. That tips the scales against him even before he starts. Don't do anonymity. But even they laid back and said, sure, Judge, you want to do anonymous? That sounds like a great idea to us. So the only people that were, or the only entities that were opposing making the jury anonymous were two newspapers, including Associated Press. So the judge, however, it gave the judge the opportunity in a 9-page decision, and we're going to put it up and I'm going to read from it because it's so powerful as to why the judge decided to make it anonymous, focusing solely on Donald Trump and his misconduct in social media, including just in the last couple of days. For those that get all excited about his Truth Social postings or social media postings, like, how does he get away with that? Every one of them, he should just type Exhibit A on the bottom, because every prosecutor and every judge is using his Trump's real-time social media postings against him in the court in rendering their decisions. This is an out-of-control client, no surprise, that no lawyer around him, he doesn't respect any of the lawyers around him, so they can't control Donald Trump and his conduct. They should quit the case because they can't control their client. Let me read from, and we're going to put it up on the screen, some of the most interesting, powerful rationale in Judge Kaplan's decision, leading to his decision that we're going to have an anonymous jury. So let's start from scratch. The judge first says, let me pull it up here on the screen so we know where we're starting from. This is a unique case. That Donald J. Trump is accused in this and a second very closely related civil case of having raped E. Jean Carroll in the mid-1990s and having defamed her. That's the first line of the order from the judge. Okay? This is what the potential jury is going to read in the media, that the judge has declared, of course, that this is a civil rape case, just the way we've reported it on Legal AF and I've done on my hot takes. And he talks about the fact that this case is going to trial April the 25th. Now, let's get to the other parts of the ruling. In the next ruling, it says that he is now a candidate for election. He's running for election again. He's got very highly favorable and unfavorable opinions about him, and goes on to say that Donald Trump frequently attacks law enforcement, attacks judges, attacks the jury, using as examples attacking the foreperson in the special purpose grand jury in Georgia, attacking the foreperson for the jury for Roger Stone in his criminal trial, and even making this like real time and up to the minute. Judge Kaplan said, I also note that he attacked the jury, that is the grand jury that's considering his potential indictment in the Stormy Daniels cover-up crime. That just happened 2 days ago. That's how up to the minute and up to the moment Judge Kaplan is. And for all of these reasons, Mr. Trump, your attacks on the judiciary, on jurors, on witnesses, on judges, on law enforcement, you forfeited your right to go after this jury. I'm going to keep them anonymous. And so he ruled, Judge Kaplan, that this jury is going to be kept together by the marshal. They're going to move as one from their caucus and deliberation room every day from the courtroom to go have lunch together, not separately. They're going to be returned by the marshal back to the courthouse. They're going to be walked together to I would assume, a bus or transportation that will take them to their next mode of transportation together, protected by the U.S. Marshal. So it's not just a matter of every time a jury comes in to a courtroom, it's all rise to respect the jury. This jury is going to be kept in bubble wrap and protected by the U.S. Marshal all along the way as we move forward into the trial of Donald Trump. And the primary reason, as declared by Judge Lewis Kaplan, is the misconduct of Donald Trump in attacking every aspect and every element of the judicial process up until this moment in real time. And Judge Kaplan has made it clear that he runs his courtroom in the interest of justice and will protect the jury, who is the most important component in that courtroom. Above the parties, above the judge, is the jury. That's why when you're in a courtroom, you don't only rise for the judge, you rise for the entry of the jury and to the jury's exit every day, because they play that important of a role in our system of jurisprudence and justice. As this is a devastating ruling, and one I can't for the life of me, as a practicing trial lawyer in the courtrooms that are currently being used, understand how and why Alina Habba and Joe Tacopina thought it was okay to fall asleep at the switch and not at least make an argument, some sort of good faith argument to have the jury not be insulated and protected and not anonymous, under the argument that taints their client on day one. They sat quietly, they sat on their hands. That played into the hands, again, of E. Jean Carroll and her lawyers, lawyer extraordinaire Roberta Robbie Kaplan, who we've had on our Legal AF podcast. So it is a great day for the plaintiff, for the jurors, for justice, and another in a series of bad court days for Donald Trump, which now stretch 2 years in over 100 courtrooms around the country. He is just not winning. He's doing the opposite of winning. He's losing every major hearing, every major ruling, every major appeal, even up to the Supreme Court. He's on the short end of that stick. This is what we're reporting, because the minutia and these micro decisions that get made along the way, before a trial, at a trial, during a trial, these are the things that impact the outcome, shape the outcome, the jury result, the jury verdict. Some of these decisions are made in advance by the judge ruling on certain motions to preclude evidence, motions to allow evidence, motions here to have the jury be anonymous. This is all important to both sides. Again, it is the micro decisions that help impact and shape the actual outcome of the case. But because Alina Habba and Joe Tacopina are too busy in makeup and wardrobe on CNN, MSNBC, and Fox, okay, and they haven't been in a courtroom in a long, long time, they've lost their fastball about how to handle a case like this, and who is being penalized as a result, whose defense is being undermined. Donald J. Trump. But he can't get better lawyers to take his case, because better lawyers are the ones that will require him to listen to their advice and counsel. And if they don't, they have the professional self-worth, they have the reputational impact to say, I don't need you in this case, I fire you as a client. But these kind of lower level lights think that they're going to get some benefit from having represented Donald Trump, so they continue to do it, even though they cringe, I am sure, every time he opens his mouth or puts his fingers on a keyboard to start tweeting or putting things on social media. So the result is all of that, all of his attacks on every aspect of our justice system have gotten the attention of Judge Lewis Kaplan, who has ruled today that there will be an anonymous jury starting on April 25th in the civil rape and defamation case against Donald Trump, brought by E. Jean Carroll. We'll follow it on a show that I co-anchor every Wednesday and Saturday called Legal AF on the MeidasTouch network. And in between those shows, it's getting to be hourly updates, but certainly daily updates we call hot takes on real-time developments at the intersection of law and politics, also on the YouTube channel for MeidasTouch Network. Subscribe there for free. You'll get notices when I start posting hot takes. And then on Wednesdays and Saturdays, we pull it all together with the top 5 stories we curated at that particular moment. You can also follow me on all social media, including Twitter, at MS Popak. This is Michael Popak, Legal AF reporting.
Lock him up! Indictment season is upon us. Celebrate with the new Indictment Season t-shirt and v-neck exclusively at store.meidastouch.com.